What's your favorite Disney movie?
I found several movies. I don't have information on movie popularity.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Hey everybody, we're back, and today we're going to be counting down our top 10 favorite Disney films from the 90s and beyond, and that's Disney animated features, by the way.
All you Little Mermaid fans, keep your skirts on because that came out in 1989. Disney movies often focus on the themes of growing up and maturing, finding freedom within yourself and your life, even in places when freedom seems kind of hopeless.
Our number 10 pick is Zootopia. In this movie, Jason Bateman is a fox, and also in this movie, he plays a fox named Nick Wilde. Zootopia takes place in a world of animals where a bunny police officer named Judy Hopps works with the criminal fox Nick Wilde to discover why animals are going mysteriously missing. The Godfather spoof that they did in this movie had me rolling. I thought it was hilarious. And the whole sloth DMV scene.
Anyone who's been to the
So
DMV,
good.
I think everyone who knows that people who work there definitely have some part sloth in them.
We can all relate.
For our number 9 pick, this movie came out in the mid-90s, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So The Hunchback of Notre Dame is based on a book, but it's a story of a deformed man who lives his whole life in basic solitude in the bell tower in France. He meets a gypsy named Esmeralda who embarrasses kind of Quasimodo's quote-unquote father figure, Judge Claude Frollo, who is kind of like a big religious kind of figure in the town. Judge Claude Frollo's out to destroy the gypsy, and he's willing to do anything at all costs. So Quasimodo, he dreams to live just one day outside of his tower. Once he meets the gypsy, he begins to believe in goodness in people, and despite what his leader told him, he's ready to venture off.
Just one day, and then I swear I'll be content.
Our number 8 pick is Mulan. I know a lot of you 90s babies love this movie. About a young girl named Mulan living in China who poses as a male in order to fight in the army in place of her elderly, sickly father. Mulan is perhaps the first feminist Disney film with loads of epic training and fighting scenes, proving Mulan to be a true badass. It also features the irreplaceable Donny Osmond singing one of the best songs of the film.
Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about number 7, I guess, which is Tangled, which most people probably know as the story of Rapunzel. This is a quirky kind of retelling of a girl with extraordinary long hair. Like, we're talking like further than down to your butt. When people say it's down to your butt, this is like way more than that.
Hair for days.
Yeah, not only is it long, but it has magical healing powers. And as a baby, Rapunzel was kidnapped by Mother Gothel, who wants to keep her hidden in this tower and use her magical hair to stay young forever. So Rapunzel never knew her real parents, never remembered them, other than the fact that she's actually a princess. But she still kind of has that longing for adventure and a break from the daily boring normal of her life. Kind of like Quasimodo, how he's stuck in a tower. They both kind of are stuck in towers. She meets like kind of a devious thief who's on the run named Flynn, who promises to bring her to these lights that she always sees on her birthday. And those lights actually are signals from her parents looking for her. And every year they would shine those lights, hoping she would one day return.
And it's warm and real and bright, and the world has somehow shifted.
I once saw a Chinese lantern in the sky, and I thought it was a UFO. And then I remembered Tangled, and I said, oh.
6.
Number 6, Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch is the unique story of a little Hawaiian girl named Lilo. This is Stitch. A misfit and loner adopting a mischievous alien named Stitch as her pet and pal. In the days following, the two get themselves into increased trouble with each other until Stitch's very presence becomes a threat to Lilo, keeping her sister Nani as her legal guardian. CPS is all up in this story. The film is loaded with Elvis songs, humor, and quotes that tug at the heartstrings. No matter the struggles and challenges people face, by keeping your family and loved ones close to you, you can help each other along the way and live happily. Sometimes the help you need comes in rare form.
Let it go, let it go.
He's crazy.
Frozen. Of course, anyone who has kids, anyone who knows kids, anyone who is anyone knows that Frozen came out a few years ago. Frozen is a story of two sisters. They live as princesses in a castle. The older sister, Elsa, played by Idina Menzel, becomes the queen, and she runs away because she's unable to control her ability of kind of just spraying ice out of her hands. She can't control it. Anna goes on a journey to try and find her and reconnect with the sisterly bond that they once had as kids. So Elsa, her character is she feels this burden of having these magical powers that once actually severely injured Anna when they were kids. So she's very secretive, and she comes off as unfriendly and kind of cold, no, pun intended, because of her fear that her powers will once again hurt her sisters or other people who love her. And Anna is the complete opposite. She doesn't remember any of that being, hit by the ice. And she's very quirky, and she's constantly upbeat, and she's way too trusting of those around her. So, this film is really memorable for its catchy soundtrack, very memorable characters. Here you can see Mr. Sven and Olaf, obviously. And it has a rare focus that Disney movies, this was kind of a break from Disney movies usually focus on a bond between like romantic relationship, and there is a little bit of romance in here, but this movie took a break from that and made the main focus like a sisterly and family bond. That is like a new kind of plot for Disney movies, which could also be seen later in Moana. Well, not a sisterly bond, but different sorts of bonds that aren't just romantic.
Our number 4 is Hercules. Hercules is the story of the son of Zeus, who lost his immortality and status as a god as a child. He trains in hopes of becoming a true hero, and he tries to retake his place among his parents and among the gods. In the midst of all this, he has to deal with the onslaught of monsters, threats from the underworld, and of course winning the affections of a Greek hottie.
No weaknesses whatsoever. No trick knee, ruptured discs.
No.
For a true hero isn't measured by the size of his strength, but by the strength of his heart.
And sometimes for what you were searching isn't what you intended.
Like that time, we went out looking for some pizza, and we stopped at Burger King instead. Number 3 is Aladdin. And I know people may be thinking this might even be a little bit low on the list, because this is definitely, I think, a favorite of Disney fans everywhere who's not really staying put. But Aladdin is the story of a homeless, poor man down on his luck in the streets of Agrabah. When he finds his dream woman and a genie that will grant his 3 wishes, things begin to get an interesting turn for this so-called street rat. The title character starts off as a true underdog. He's orphaned, without money, and he steals with his little monkey to survive. But despite his struggles, he is still able to bring compassion to those who are even less fortunate than him. And though he does struggle with bouts of self-confidence, Prince Ali, he eventually returns to his good-natured self. But the film is really brought to life by Robin Williams' portrayal of the genie. That's what everyone remembers about this film. Once Williams says his first line in the movie, he brings a plethora of one-liners, fun musical numbers, and pure entertainment whenever the big blue guy is on screen. And I don't think anyone can deny that.
Why? 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
Alright guys, number 2, Beauty and the Beast, the original animated classic. This is a story that isn't of your typical Disney princess. Fiercely independent Belle, though dreaming of more than her provincial life, won over the hearts of audiences with her kind and intelligent ambitions. Not only does she rescue her aging father, but she sacrifices her safety and finds herself captive in a mysterious castle with talking antiques
Like Lumiere over here.
and a raging cursed beast who was once a human prince. What starts off as a spooky adventure turns into a love story unlike the others. Instead of Belle needing the beast, it's Beast who needs to experience love in order to lift the curse and turn back into a human.
Well, it's my favorite. Borrowed places, daring sword fights, magic spells, a prince in disguise.
If you like it all that much, it's yours.
And
Our number one.
number one, 90s and beyond, favorite animated Disney movie. What is it? What is it?
Savannah, skibidoo-dee-dee-da, Savannah. You might have guessed it by now, but it's emotional, it's funny, it's deep, it's meaningful, it's family drama, it's Shakespearean. The Lion King has all the workings of a great film, not to mention cute animals and some sweet tunes. The Lion King is the Hamlet-inspired story of a young lion cub named Simba. He's destined to one day be the king of the jungle. His evil uncle Scar devises a plan to kill Simba's father and Simba himself so that he could be king. As Simba grows up, he is forced to look deep inside himself and bring stability and pride back to his family and the throne that has been taken over by his uncle. So Simba, this little cute little lion cub right here, he starts off as a brash young lion cub. He's just looking to get into trouble. He often thinks too far ahead by wanting to be king before his time and venturing off to places that are too dangerous for his age. As he grows up, he struggles with his identity. His father was kind of always the one that kind of veered him out of the way of trouble and kind of taught him the rights and wrongs. So when he's left alone without his father, he's struggling to find himself, and he doesn't really know whether he's destined to be king or if he's just destined to be really nothing much at all. When he realizes that his father's spirit lives within himself, it's then that he's able to overcome all of his past struggles.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Ah, you see?
And I think a lot of these Disney films have a lot of lessons that we can all, even still as adults can learn from. And that's why I think, these films are really important, even today.
Right. And we want to know, what are your favorite Disney animated movies from the 90s and beyond?
And what are your least favorites? Are there any Disney movies that you don't like?
Any you think that are overrated? We want to know that too. And of course, thank you so much for watching up until now and all your support and your comments. We really enjoy it. We really appreciate it. And until next time.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle.
See you next time.